You're listening to From a Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast offered to be preserved in the Library of Congress, much like the good guy Force users in the Inquisitorium Jedi Memoriam. I'm Jason the Ginger Jedi Guy, broadcasting live from inside Wookiee Poo Studios. I am not alone, and it is fortunate for me. Let's lay that out because our third micer, Matt's getting, complex there. Please allow me to introduce. One of them is Matt, your favorite wretched scum, scoundrels, and smugglers. First up, neighbor Cole from Corellia.
That's me.
Tofu cooking. Non-burning doing.
I thought it was more like an Inquisitorium wax museum myself. Like they looked like the little insects caught in Jurassic Park.
Yes, exactly.
Caught inside of amber.
Yeah.
So maybe not. Maybe we're going to have like an Encino Man type of vibe where they...
I want that spinoff. I want an Encino Man Star Wars.
They bring them out, and then all of a sudden they're all just cavemen, though, for some unknown reason.
Pauly Shore is some Republic guy on some planet. He's got a fucking...
Wheezing the Jedi grindage, just fucking getting after it.
No wheezing the juice.
Yeah. Thanks for having me down here in your Inquisitorium Emporium. Mm-hmm. But thank you for opening up your spaceport for me to fly in here with my T-16 and just slide in. But we are not alone. We do have our favorite third marker coming in hot from the Skype lines, a.k.a. the hyperspace lanes.
I pictured like the scene toward the end where Reva comes out, traitor! That's our Darth Mathias storming out, getting shot at by fucking two little ships.
Yelling at us.
Just can't fucking compete, man.
So we're the ones in the ships?
Yeah, we're like running. We're like out of here. Can't do nothing. Blows up our friend, but that's all right.
It's Fantasyland all over the place today.
It is.
Anyways, long story short, thank you for being here. Mart, welcome to the show.
69, dude. There you go. That was just for you, Jay.
Thank you.
Really quickly, from a certain point askew.com, Twitter at FACP, FACPA pod, Gmail, FACPApod@gmail.com. Please email the show. We love when you send us some shit.
Love it.
It earns you entries into our giveaway for our Kenobi hilt. So if you want to do that, tell a friend about the show, write a review, quote tweet our episodes, blah, blah, blah. You'll get some, you might win a big prize.
You might.
Yeah, I need to start tallying up the points. I have not yet, so I really got to go back and dig into that and get that spreadsheet rolling.
And the big prize this season is my enlarged heart.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's come back since the Book of Boba Fett?
From not eating enough tofu.
Oh, is it growing? Is Kenobi growing on you?
Oh, it's been growing.
Yeah?
Yeah. Growing pains.
Without any blue pills?
Correct.
Much like his saber?
Yep.
Okay.
You set him up, I'll knock him down
right,
every time.
you.
All show long.
On the show today, we're going to get through this, we promise. Question of the week, end of an era. We got some news for the Acolyte Sith rumors. Batuu, near you. Ahsoka-Luke first meeting. I think I already know that story. Kenobi episode 4 review. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of everything that happens in that episode. We've already kind of teased about it, but that's the big thing here. It's in our bag, not our Maul Bag, but our bag. We have one in our Maul Bag. We're going to get to that after our Kenobi review, and then we're going to wrap up the show with a FACPAtoid Chopper's killer count. So I guess let's get into this. This question of the week can be read by anybody who wants to read it.
I'll do it, and the thing here is that it's actually technically a Maul Bag that I converted into our question of the week. So we did get 2 Maul Bags. So. Okay. This is from Ty from the 2-on-3 pod. He starts out by saying, "Hey guys, big shout out to Cole." There you go. God, you get shout outs in the Maul Bag every fucking week.
This is 3 in a row.
I'm the show favorite.
Yeah, I think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, big shout out to Cole for noticing the Reva knows the Underground Jedi Railroad tunnel call. That's what I picked up too. Even if she didn't know that tunnel specifically, she knew the symbols and would know what to look for at the spaceport. Otherwise, that scene doesn't make any sense. In episode 205 of 2-on-3, hey, pimp your shit.
Yeah, a little.
As you should.
We love it.
Chris and I briefly discussed the lack of dramatic tension since we already know the time of death for all the principals, and that's something I'm having a hard time getting past. It seems to me that the series has to end with Vader believing that Obi-Wan is dead. Otherwise, how could he have returned to Tatooine and kept watch over Luke for another decade? Fair point. So no matter what the final confrontation is, it can't really end with an Obi-Wan victory of any kind, which means the Reva turn has been telegraphed since basically the second episode. I'm enjoying the show, but I guess I'm not looking forward to its conclusion because it's likely to be unsatisfying, setting off another wave of internet backlash.
There's no short order of those.
I think this is, really quickly, we'll finish up with the rest of what he said, but this is always a concern if you ever tell a story that looks back. I mean, even like when it's a more one-off thing, like Temple of Doom, that's a prequel. You know, Indy's not going to fall off the fucking bridge and get eaten by alligators, but you still, enjoy the movie, right? So I think people get hung up a lot on the whole prequel thing and going like, well, we know they live, so there's no tension. And I just think I think the stories are still valid to tell. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I think they're doing a good job at filling in. I'm enjoying like the Star Wars stuff where they're filling in these little holes or kind of like creating new seeds for things as well. Like I know what he's saying because it was like for me like watching the Harry Potter movies. I'm like, I know there's like what 6, 7, 8 books, whatever there are.
I
know he fucking lived through the whole thing. Yeah. So like I struggled with, he's in trouble. This poor 12-year-old kid. But they were still worthy stories to tell, I guess, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
The fun is in the journey and plugging in the backstory and being like, oh, well, that's why that happened, and oh, this is the reason why he did this.
Could you imagine if they fucking like Disney's like kill him in the end?
Whoa! The whole fucking place explodes. Twitter explodes.
It was forced projection.
Yeah.
On the Death Star. After all, fuck.
You just got like 20 million people collectively going, what?
Yeah. It's like
Kennedy's like, I'm sick of these fucking internet fuckwads.
Yeah, eat that shit.
You didn't see this one coming, did you?
It's like when Obi-Wan says, "I suddenly, as if 20 a lot of voices cried out in unison, and then we're silent."
Yes,
that's the clip. That's the clip we got to pull.
He said, he goes on to say, "I'm a firm believer that as fans, we can and should criticize the things we love in order for them to become better. But the Star Wars course is just so fatiguing." That's a word for it. I think after Andor and Ahsoka, they should move on to post-sequel era to have any chance at creating new characters or stories that people can love and connect to again. And he also added in DM after that, which I thought was important to include, he said, "I'm interested to hear your take on this because Chris has a good way of putting it. We have a box where the beginning is the end of Revenge of the Sith and the end is the start of A New Hope. So what can we fit? What's in the box?" Basically. Yeah. But whatever they come up with, we know with certainty that the final showdown between Vader and Obi-Wan has to end a certain way. And that's getting in the way of me enjoying anything but the nostalgia about the show. I get what he's saying. I don't want to I don't want to poke the bear here on Chris Villaseñor again, but it's like Solo. You knew Han was going to live. You knew about the Kessel Run. You knew these things, but you didn't get to see them played out. And you also get to see these relationships develop more, and they have more meaning when you go back and watch those things you've already seen before, because you see how they got to that place. So I think there's still a lot of merit in telling those stories and fleshing that part of the story out when it's just like a casual mention in a movie we saw 30, 40 years ago. Yeah,
I think they're doing they've definitely shown why Leia has named her son Ben.
Right.
You know, he's a good guy. I'm gonna name my kid after them. He saved me.
That's been a big hammer for people. Is like, oh, well, that line she says, that you're my only hope. You served my father in the Clone Wars. It sounded like she didn't really know him. Blah 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 blah. You can nuance that a little bit and say, well, the way she's addressing it is maybe more formal, whatever she's doing.
Right.
But it's still showing that there was a relationship there. And that is why she would turn to him of all people, because he helped her once before.
Well, also, it could be just cryptically it's a message that could be stolen from somebody, right? So she's like, you served my father in the Clone War. Like, right. We don't know each other.
That's
wink,
all.
Wink, nudge,
yeah,
nudge.
That's all in the books.
Yeah.
You served my father in the Clone Wars. Nothing else. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That's a good point.
Yeah, she's following Imperial protocol, or not Imperial, Rebellion protocols on leaking information. She's not a whistleblower.
Well, the same fans that fucking complain that if you stick to everything, you're getting nothing new, and then if you change something, but it doesn't go back to a line of dialogue and something else, they're pissed off too.
If you look at the original trilogy, there's stuff that gets broken throughout that trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to accept some of it. It's not going to be fucking airtight, or they're gonna maneuver things a little bit to fit the story they're telling. It's fine as long as it's not like a drastic change. Like the Grand Inquisitor dying when we know we were going to see him later.
Yeah, right.
Just kidding.
Okay, Matt.
Anyway, thank you, Ty, for the question.
Yeah,
and the questioning attitude.
Yeah,
we appreciate that.
And thanks for bringing up Chris.
Well,
I'm kidding.
Still tense. 20 episodes later, or whatever. All right, on to news. There were some rumors from it's called the Dis Insider, the Diz Insider. I guess I think
it's Disney, right? Diz Insider.
Diz Insider, right?
Yeah.
Jizz Insider.
There you go.
Oh, that's a different podcast.
The Acolyte series. And so there's a couple things of note that they were talking about. One of the guys shared how they're going to dive deep into a lot more Sith characters. So he said, quote, "We're talking Darth Revan."
Yeah.
Sorry. He said, "We're talking Darth Revan, folks," which I hear they're going to bring in a lot of these Legends characters. Darth Bane, Darth Nihilus, Darth Malak, Darth Revan. So correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't a lot of these characters from like the Knights of the Old Republic video games and shit?
Video game and the books.
Yeah,
there's quite Revan is Knights of the Old Republic, right?
Yeah.
Darth Bane, he's
we did
in
see
the books,
him,
and he's mentioned in. Was his name mentioned? He's mentioned by the Emperor when they're having the bubble light show at the opera or whatever it is. And
does he mention him or just Plagueis?
Maybe it's Plagueis. It's Plagueis. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But we see Bane. We see Bane in Clone Wars when Yoda encounters.
That's what it is.
It's Mark Hamill's voice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this looks cool. And you were saying to us on DM, Jay, that like this is kind of quickly becoming your most anticipated show.
Yeah, I'm liking the idea that we're going to see something completely different, like from a certain point of view, right? But a certain point of view, like we don't ever see. Well, we see like the back and forth of the good side, the light side, dark side. But this is completely going to be told from. It's like their version of watching like Luke Skywalker's story, right? We're going to see like the birth of, I don't know, whoever probably is Plagueis.
Right.
What if this just turns everybody on their head and everyone's just like, hey, let's root for the bad guys like the Americans, right? We all started rooting for the fucking Russians. We're all like, yeah, okay, I like these guys too much.
Well, if they write it the right way, you won't feel bad for them, right?
Maybe America
I sympathize with them.
Maybe America does suck really bad, you know? Fucking, these Russians might be onto something.
I mean, we are rooting for terrorists in this series, right? The Republic could be considered
from a
terrorist.
certain point of view.
Yeah.
The rebellion. Yeah. I mean, I just like you said, Ty asked earlier about doing a different era. This satisfies that. Granted, it's going back, but still, it's stories that we haven't really seen put in a series so much. And I mean, yes, there are books and stuff like that I have not read on that topic, but I mean, you can really do a lot in that space. And I can't remember where I was reading this or something, but somebody brought up how the success of The Mandalorian was some of that attributed to the fact that it was a brand new character that was not in any book or video game or anything before. Because you know how people get so hung up in, but there was this book that this happened, you know, and they get like real stuck on that kind of stuff. Whereas if you create a character out of thin air, you can do whatever you want with them. Yeah.
I mean, it was tricky. Like Disney, you know, there was a lot of fear behind that. Like, is anyone going to watch a fucking Star Wars TV show based on a character that no one knows? But it was well written, so.
Right.
Yeah, they still had to put him in some sort of like box though. Like he had to be a Mandalorian, even though he was like an offset of the rest of the Mandalorians, and he was more of a heretic, whatever.
Encounter people we know.
People you know, and he still had rules his character kind of had to follow by, right? So he wasn't like completely unfamiliar. We were familiar with Mandalorians since, you know, Clone Wars and Rebels and all the other stuff. So
it's an interesting mythology to play with too. Like right away you're going into that, you're like, oh, I want to know more about these.
Yeah, like a warrior society. Every society that's like that, like everyone kind of can kind of dig deep into those. It's a very interesting like culture to learn about type of a deal.
Yeah. Though the other thing that was mentioned by them, the Diz Insider, I have a tough time saying that.
Just switch it up to what I said.
Yeah, there you go. Was the planet Batuu is supposed to be showing up somewhere in like an upcoming movie or series. They weren't sure when, but that for you Disneyland fans, that is where the Black Spire outpost is. That's Galaxy's Edge. That's where all that stuff takes place. And it made me think too. I was like, well, for friend of the show, the Arthurian historian, that means we might see Doc Ondar, the antiquities dealer that you see when you go to that park, and he's a big Arthurian with a huge head.
Okay.
So he'll be excited for that. I think we bought extra Kyber crystals from him, so highly recommend that store.
I'm surprised that Batuu hasn't been in anything yet. Like everyone this has been rumored for years, but like, why wouldn't Disney include this in something at some point? It's been in a couple of the books.
Yeah, the books, right? I remember it being in the books, but yeah, nothing yet, and it totally makes sense. Then you can do whatever you want with it at the park. I mean, isn't that the end goal?
And wasn't it rumored that a Rise of Skywalker? It was at one point in one of the scripts for that.
Was it?
I think.
Oh, was it the the Call
I
of
don't know if it was
Trevorrow?
the Trevorrow one or if it was an early version of Abrams when he came back.
Well,
into it.
it probably was like a 7-hour movie the first time around, and then let's cut that down. Final bit of news is, and yeah, we talked about this a little bit, I think, on DM, is that Dave Filoni, happy birthday. I think was it yesterday or the day before was his birthday?
Yep.
He's my age. Look what he's accomplished. Look what I've accomplished. I got a
Wow.
podcast. He's the fucking mastermind of Star Wars. About the same.
You
6 of one, half dozen of another.
you both wear hats.
Yeah, both had hats
Yeah.
on. I don't wear that cowboy hat though. He's got a good
Probably. I'm betting he's a fan of spreadsheets.
He might no. He's a big time creative type. He don't got time for spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Now he's the nerd. You're the jock. He doesn't play hockey, so you guys are polar opposites. there.
No, but he
Yeah.
is a hockey fan, so he's got that going for him. I don't know. Anyway, he was doing an interview at or after Celebration, I'm not sure which, where he mentioned that he has this whole story in mind for how Ahsoka and Luke met. Because obviously when we see them in Book of Boba Fett in that one episode, they know each other a
Right.
little bit anyway. So how did they first meet? And so he said, quote, yeah, I have a whole story about that I devised many years ago, actually, because I had to put that tile in place to do what I'm doing now and understand it. I haven't found a way to tell that story yet. I've told a piece of it afterward, but we'll see. You'd love it. It's a great story.
Super humble, Dave.
I believe you, Dave.
Your arrogance is your weakness. Well, and the other thing he said is that it's not going to happen in Ahsoka, at least season 1, if they do
Right.
more seasons of Ahsoka. We're not going to see it there, but it will come up in some other point. So, do you think, is it going to be live action? Is it going to be something in animation? I'm not sure, but it would be cool to see
I
that
don't
play
know.
out. He must have so many stories written. He must have so many he sounds like he comes across as a guy who anytime he's on a fucking plane going somewhere, he's like, all of a sudden he just, fleshes out
Yeah.
a character that we haven't really known
Right.
about, and just like,
Yeah.
do, and then is drawing pictures of him and shit. If you sat next to him in the airplane, you'd be like, what the fuck's going on over there, Dave?
I feel like, where are you going next?
Yeah.
Book a flight wherever
Probably
he's going.
fucking keeps all his illustrations. Probably keeps all of his illustrations under that fucking 10-gallon hat.
Exactly.
It's just full. He pulls
Or
it out.
like their cocktail napkins on the plane that get thrown out. He's like sliding 20s to the flight attendant, like to dig through the trash
Yeah.
and get him, start
Yeah.
collecting his drawings.
He's in the job interview. He's like, "Oh, you didn't like that one? How about this one?" He takes his hat off, pulls out another one. What do you think of this
And
guy?
he's like, no, not that one. No. It's on toilet paper rolls and
Oh,
shit.
boy.
He takes his shit. He's writing on the toilet paper roll. That's all for the news. You want to talk Kenobi?
I don't really want to, but I'm here for
All
it.
right, well, let's move on.
All right.
So really quickly, we'll get into the blow by blow, but people, some people are getting a little bit impatient, I think, with this. That term filler episode is getting floated around out there. I don't think this is necessarily a filler episode. I do understand a little bit the sentiment because they spent a lot of time, a sixth of the show, on telling the story that is essentially like a New Hope rescue type scene that
Yes.
we've kind of seen play out before. What I was thinking about when I watched it is I thought, and I don't want to be that guy, but I was thinking, okay, well, how much does this really advance the story? And it does to a degree in several ways. One is we're getting to see Kenobi's powers start to come back and him start to figure that out. We're getting a little bit more background on Reva, although I think more is coming in the next part. You get a little bit more of the Leia Kenobi bond, so that's playing out more. And then the biggest thing being the what Ben discovers in the depths of the Inquisitorium, which we'll get to here in a minute. But I think there's a lot there, especially after I think at first blush when you watch that episode, some people might have gone, okay, so that was fun, but it was just kind of this like offshoot. Like we only got 2 episodes left here. What are we doing? Like we got to get to the end and we got a lot of stuff to still cover.
Well, it's sort of like Boba Fett or Mandalorian the first season, where like you're seeing shit and you're like, come on, when are they going to throw money into a set piece, right? And we saw it in season 2. I think it's the same. You got Kenobi running up and down the same fucking hallway, shot from a different view, for 23 minutes in this episode. They really maximized the budget in this one.
Where do you notice shit like this? I don't ever notice stuff like
No?
that. Like that doesn't. Like I never pick up on it.
They got money to spend in the next 2 because this guy's fucking hopping up in a window, jumping out of a window, hiding behind something, using the Force against the window. Like
it did look pretty though. They did a good job on that
hallway. It was
hallway.
really good. Yeah. And we all love fucking Jedi in a hallway. That's Disney's thing.
Of course.
They were like, it worked for Daredevil, we're stealing it.
Well, and I think also if this was episode 4 of like a 10 or 12 episode season, I wonder if that would change some of the critics' thoughts on this being like, because I think what hits people the hardest is they're like, this is one of 6, and we still got a lot of shit to sort out here.
Yeah.
So I think that's what making people people a little worried.
A lot of fucking information in this episode too.
There is.
Much as it feels like it's a filler, like there's a lot going on here.
Absolutely.
A lot going on for the future as well.
Yep. And it also, the only other thing I was going to mention before we jump into it is just that it made me wonder, are they saving Vader so that his scenes have more weight? Because they're not showing him a ton.
No, I think it's smart. Like, and people are fucking griping because they want more Vader. We were promised fucking Vader. Well, you got 2 more episodes yet, and you're getting he's a fucking mean son of a bitch.
Yeah, he is.
Like, there's a long time where I'm like, he's not really the fucking like #1 villain of like cinematic history, right? But holy shit, are they fucking making sure you remember that?
Right.
He moves differently. You can tell it's Hayden Christensen. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like he just moves.
Well, he's
super
younger
quick.
Vader. He's still got a little pep in his bionic step.
Pre-arthritis Vader.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think they said, maybe it was something I read also. I think one of the stuntmen said that it's mostly Hayden.
He had a trainer like to learn to move like Darth Vader.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And there's 2 stunt doubles as well. I think there was 2 of them. Yeah.
I was gonna say Prowse is his name. What's his name?
Yeah, but he's dead.
I know. I was gonna say he's not around to teach him.
Yeah. And he's also like the bane of
Prowse is his
Lucasfilm,
name,
right?
sorry.
Like, yeah. They deny the fact that he was ever in it and shit. Treat him like
Yeah, I
crap.
know,
You ever watch
I
the
know.
documentary?
Yeah.
Poor bastard.
I called him Prowess. That's respect.
Yeah. It's his nickname now.
I'll never forget the fact that David Prowse retweeted my tweet when I showed a picture of my kids in their Star Wars.
That's
gear.
right.
So
Yeah.
we got that going. We got that connection.
Yep.
All right, let's get into this guy.
That's why our show's been shadow banned by Disney. You fucked up, Matt.
Oops. So we open this episode with Ben coming in and out of consciousness as he's being flown to Jabim. I still love saying it. And put in the bacta tank, and of course, I think we all thought, "Yep, it's right according to plan." Like this is exactly what we expected. We're gonna get those Clone Wars flashbacks, and so it starts with the flashbacks of the fight sequence. And you're like, "Yeah, that makes sense." And then they're showing Vader. They're going back and forth, showing him in the tank, and then he quickly comes out of it and gets out of the tank. I'm like, "What?"
You think there's like 9 minutes? Because this was a short episode. It was like 36 minutes.
It was very
I think
short.
it's the shortest one.
Yes, it
so
is.
I'm wondering if they because it would be so similar to the Book of Boba Fett, right? It would be almost the same thing. So we're like, fuck, we can't use any of that.
Right.
So they just had to chop it out. And it's all these badass scenes. Ahsoka.
On the cutting room floor.
Ahsoka's running out with him. Yeah.
I like to call it the duel of the bacta tanks. That's what it was.
Okay.
You just kept flashing back and
Right.
forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like there was like a connection. And does everybody have a fucking bacta tank?
It's like the urgent care for
It's
the Star Wars universe.
It is.
It's just propped up in a dirty cave.
Well, that or you got remember in The Mandalorian when IG-11 had the spray.
Yeah.
That he sprayed all that shit back to everywhere. Back to the cure all.
It is.
That stuff should be like gold. Like there should be some sort of storyline where people are hoarding the bacta.
Yeah. When is Solo gonna do the bacta? 12 point whatever seconds.
It's the insulin of the Star Wars
That's
universe.
right. That's right.
Super expensive.
It's really
to get your hands
expensive.
on it.
Yeah, exactly. So he quickly not jumps out of, but pops out of the bacta tank. She's like, you're not healed. And then he's like, where's Leia? Freaking out.
He looks pretty healed to me.
He does later. His skin looks like shit. I mean, he needs some treatment there.
Yeah, he laid out on the beach too long.
But we go to Nur. Is that what they call that planet? Something like that? N-U-R?
Yeah.
I think that's
Nur.
what it said. Nur.
Yeah.
And the Inquisitorium, and we see that Leia is having her Karen moment.
She's really giving it to the stormtroopers.
Do you know who I am?
Right.
I'm a princess. I would like to speak to your manager. And then and then Reva walks in. I'm the fucking manager. She's like, oh, sorry.
Boy.
My dad's going to be real mad at you guys.
Yeah. Karen moment.
One of the things I thought was interesting, and I guess it's not a big deal. I don't want to get too caught up in the weeds on it, but she says Obi-Wan is dead. And she knows who she's referring to. Did she know his name was Obi-Wan, Leia? She must have, I guess, but she's always called him Ben, and it's always been introduced as Ben. I just thought that was interesting.
Oh, yeah, because she didn't really question it.
Maybe she just figured it out. She's smart.
Yeah.
Smart 10-year-old.
Smart kid.
So then we meet Roken, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and he's like, get the fuck out of here. Everybody's going to be coming for you. We don't need your attention.
Yep.
You're bringing too much heat to the party, Obi.
Which is kind of ridiculous because they're harboring all these fucking Jedis that come through anyways. But he's the one that, well, I guess it's more secret than the other ones, and this one's kind of got a big fucking red flag on his back right now. So Absolutely. I get it, but.
Yeah, and I liked his character, and it's funny because at one point Kenobi's, talking to him and trying to convince him of stuff, and he's like, you don't know what the Empire's capable of, and Roken looks at him like, oh no?
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my wife.
Yeah, you fucking egomaniacal prick.
Yeah.
She might be in the goddamn...
I was wondering, yeah.
Yeah, she might be. Who knows? But I love how he's basically like, go fuck yourself. And then 10 seconds later, he's like, I'll help you. is this Mando again? Like Mando style negotiation?
I was trying to, like when I watched it the second time, I was like, was he angry? Like, you don't understand. I do understand. Or was he supposed to be like, oh no, I do understand, so I will help you?
It was just...
Because I was kind of a...
He has a quick realization moment, goes, well, shit, I guess I should probably help you. Yeah.
It's a quick ragtag planning session going on there too. They're like, oh, you know what? Let's just go. Not a real big plan in place. Let's try these T-16s going. That's suicide. Okay, well, we'll figure it out on the way. Come on, Nala.
Well, yeah, that was funny because they show that scene where they're talking about it, and it like goes to this. They're immediately in the ship and flying there. I was like, holy shit, this is moving along fast. And then of course maybe that's because it was a 30-minute episode. They had to kind of move it along.
I like that, the fucking hologram needed a good fucking punch to turn on.
Yeah.
Fucking nothing ever works for these rebels.
They're not extremely well funded at this point.
No.
It's hard to put it all together. But yeah, it made me think, of course it's a freaking suicide mission. They're basically going in after a high value prisoner and think they're going to get out of there with just two people going in and doing that. I felt like they should have turned and gone like 3PO odds.
Right? Yeah. And there's no shields because who the fuck is going to try to break into this place?
Right.
It's kind of an arrogant fortress.
Well, it's a sign of things to come. It's like they didn't think the exhaust port was a concern, As they fly, Ben's working on his force skills, trying to get his touch back, like just moving shit around on a table. Tala gets in there, lands. She gets past the TSA.
They stepped it up a bit, though.
They did. They actually stopped her this time. They stopped somebody. Well, they know Reva. They're like, we're not fucking with her.
She had to do some dressing down of that officer who wasn't calling her sir when he was supposed to.
Right.
She was his ranking officer, and she slides her way in.
Yes.
Fucking security always gets treated like shit.
You get to see the clearance pens. The pens from we saw those in Rebels or Clone Wars.
Yeah, they use them a lot in one of those. I think it was Rebels.
So right? We saw it in Mandalorian too, didn't we? Didn't they use it when they were in that complex on with what's his butt Bill Burr? Didn't that come into play at some point? I don't know.
It could have.
So then meanwhile, Kenobi's using his old mouthpiece that we saw back in Phantom Menace, and he is like kind of taking the low road coming in from the bottom,
right? Which
is interesting because that Jedi Fallen Order game, Cal Kestis does a similar thing. Like comes in.
I saw that somewhere. They said that was the same way he entered it, right?
Yeah. So they haven't fixed that security hole yet.
Like, well, no one would be stupid enough to try that twice.
Yeah, no way.
Or would they?
If you watch the scene again in the background, you see another one, like a person way in the background swimming up to one, and they're both in the fucking same time, never run into each other.
In another part of the station, the same exact events are transpiring.
Nobody would ever do it twice. It's almost like, hold your fire. There's no life forms on board. I can't remember if it's Family Guy or somebody else who says, if they just would have fired, everything would have fucking gone to shit. They just had to fire that one shot. Okay. Then Reva, claims that the Empire intercepted a transmission on Balnab. Is that what she says? Tough to say that. Or Balnab.
Which is that was in the Clone Wars.
Yes. So I had to look that up because it sounded familiar. And so it was the one where R2 and 3PO end up on that planet that was almost like a Gulliver's Travel thing.
Yeah.
Also kind of a Wizard of Oz thing. That guy was like in the little thing projecting a bigger image outside. It was that weird episode with them where they were like off in no man's land. And we were like, what the fuck is going on here?
It was one of those fucking, we got to have a droid episode.
Yeah. Leia, meanwhile, is just not giving up anything. And Reva's like trying to get in her mind. And she's so strong. Her mental.
She's such a cocky little shit.
I love what she's like. Is this a staring contest? Which very much was like Poe to Kylo. Who talks first? You talk first? I talk first? Yeah. It was kind of that same moment. I thought that was kind of a cool.
That's true, yeah.
It's cool because she does later on. Remember in episode 4, I believe it's like they're saying she's resisting the mind probe. She resists the mind probe, so
good call.
She's really good at like fending off.
I think it was a genuine question though.
Sodium pentothal.
At this point, like she doesn't fucking know anything, so she's just like, why is this person like? holding her fucking hands toward me and just staring at me.
Well, I thought about that too, except for she does know of Jabim. So she is aware of that planet. That is mentioned in front of her, right?
Right. She knows that, now that they're harboring like Jedis, but she's never seen them do anything, right?
No, but she knows that the path, the Tala says the path, all paths lead.
Oh, right. That's
Jabim.
what she's trying.
So she knows that. That's the thing that Reva would be trying to get out of.
Yes. I just meant that like it's genuine. Like she doesn't know she's trying to suck it out of her brain.
I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. She's like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you'd think Reva would be a little bit more surprised that Leia's so strong in the Force. Did they all know that she's Force sensitive? Like, what?
No, she just she wrote it off as strong-willed.
You think so?
It's like in Phantom Menace when he's like, "You will let me take the boy" or whatever, and he's like, "Your Jedi tricks don't work on me." If you're weak-minded, you're allowed to be manipulated. But if you're not as weak-minded, you're strong-minded. It doesn't necessarily mean you're Force sensitive. It just means that you're not as easy to fuck with.
Even Jabba couldn't be.
Yeah, but
tricked.
Kylo pulled it out of Poe. Poe's not weak-minded.
Well, he is in that regard. It took some work.
That was an aggressive sweat session, though, right?
I don't think Reva would she's willing to fucking burn Leia's eyes out later. I think she'd pull pry her mind apart.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, these Empire people, they don't have a problem fucking just torturing children.
Listen, boys, I'm on the top of my game with this series. All right, you better get on my level or fucking.
Well, and then I like how, you do get a little bit more of Reva's backstory. You know, she's talking about how she once had a droid, like before they took everything. So you would make you think that she's talking about her youngling days when she was taken in to become a Jedi and she lost her family or whatever. But I like how Leia goes, okay, I'll tell you, but I got to tell my dad first because we're all on the same team, right?
Right.
And the look on Reva's face, and she puts her hand up, goes like, you fucking. I mean, how many times has that happened to you with your kids when they've done something? You're just like, you motherfucker. I love that.
Just holds it in. Oh, I want to put my hands on you so bad right now.
You did this to yourself.
Yeah, and anyone who says all my issues with Reva's acting have been assuaged, she's really good. She's like coming into her own, I guess. Maybe she was just a little clunky, a little nervous during the beginning, but she's really like her interaction with Leia was like she pulled off a lot.
Well, I think it's a new character, so you need a couple of episodes to kind of figure her out, right?
Getting her feet wet.
Yeah, and she very much is like trying to prove herself. She's got some fucking mental health issues. she's quick to go stark raving mad.
She's got some major PTSD, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and to that point, Jay, like Cole, it took us a little bit to get used to her. It wasn't just her getting used to the role. So I think you're right, though. I think she's fantastic. I think she's been one of the stars of this series.
Agreed.
Meanwhile, Ben's making his way to the detention center or whatever you want to call it. This is where we really get to start seeing him like learning his sneaking around the Death Star capabilities he's going to use later in A New Hope.
Right.
It's very, very similar feel.
Yeah.
I mean, even the fucking comms link left on the table.
Yeah.
With him calling out was just straight out. That was straight A New Hope. It was very, very similar to that. But then he uses the same Force trick where he's like hiding up in the little thing in the hallway and he does the sound down the hall. Yep. I mean, it's very, very reminiscent of A New Hope. They know what they're doing. They know we're going to be like, oh yeah. So then he stumbles into the coolest and creepiest part of the episode, and that is the Hall of Jedi Taxidermy. Yeah. So I
like how he's like, I think I've reached the secure zone. I was like, isn't all of it?
Well, but it had
what's he call it?
It had the symbol on the door.
Right. It was like, oh, this is the red zone. And then he's just got a normal fucking stormtrooper's key, and he's like, boop, gets to enter.
Well, that stormtrooper had major clearance.
Apparently.
He was the one guarding the back door.
He's guarding the fucking sewer, and he's got clearance to the fucking red zone.
They rotate every 2 hours.
That's what it is. Yeah, okay.
But there's got to be like 30 or 40 Jedi in there. I mean, it's a lot because it's 2 levels. It's not just the main floor. It's going up top too, and there's a lot. And that's when he drops the Sean Bean Lord of the Rings line. It's not a fortress, it's a tomb.
Now let's park on this for a minute.
Okay.
Like thoughts on this whole area, because this is like, I think the biggest mind-blowing thing we've seen so far, right? Like, oh shit. I mean, there's a lot going on, right? So we've got these Jedis like encapsulated in amber, right? Are they dead? Are they alive? Is there some kind of like stasis? Is this the beginning of Emperor's like, I'm going to stay alive for everything, right? So at first he's like, I'm going to use these fucking Jedis because I need their fucking midichlorians. Now here, why does he just fucking poke Vader?
Why doesn't who poke Vader?
Just fucking take the blood right out of Vader.
Oh, you're saying, why doesn't the Emperor do that?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Did you guys recognize anyone?
Yes.
The second one was like the old man in the Clone Wars that did a mission or two with Ahsoka.
Lost saber lost, lightsaber lost.
Yeah, that was the first one I think you see. Tara Sanoob.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's the one that she finds in like the archives or whatever. And she's like, is he asleep? He's
Yes,
the old guy.
the old man in the library, right?
Yeah, and then he helps her get her saber back.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna save one, I mean, he's probably the one that you don't want walking around with his cane.
He's crafty though. Got a lot of knowledge.
I mean, Yoda walked around with a cane.
Well, he's already towards the end of his life, and then being put in the amber carbonite probably really heightened his dementia. So when he comes out, he really can't grasp what time period he's in. Is this, are we on Coruscant? I'm just so confused. I'm an old man.
He's not the one we want for the Encino Man.
No, he's not.
Well, and some people were speculating they thought one of the Jedi was Quinlan Vos. If that was the case, he would have stopped and gone, oh, fuck. Because he just talked about Quinlan on the previous episodes. There's no way that's Quinlan Vos. And then somebody thought that the one character was Seer from Jedi Fallen Order with longer hair. I don't think that's true. And then, of course, you see that youngling kid, which makes you think, is that the kid from the first episode?
It looks like, the one from episode 1 where Anakin walks in there to slay everybody. So, he's just taking everybody. Don't give her your age, whatever. Kid's still wearing his fucking helmet.
I know. Still, just in case, life helmet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it made me think too. Are they dead? Are they in suspended animation? Mm-hmm. Is this like the fucking Matrix and they're using their force powers to keep the lights on? I don't know.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because how are you going to get power out there?
Maybe
I didn't see any solar panels.
There's like rectal tubes in all of them, and it's feeding to fucking the Emperor's throne chair. It's just like, give me your bad power.
Okay.
It's not all my vision
You
should
had
be
me
shared, clearly.
You had me at rectal tube for juveniles. Okay. I got no rebuttal.
Yeah, but I'm interested to see what else they do with this. Is that just going to be like, oh, we get this mention of it, we see it, and then they move on? Or is this going to come back around somehow?
This is what all season 2 is about, man. He's got to go fucking, he's like,
back.
You know what? This shit's been handled, but now I got to go back and save my friends.
Yeah, could be. It was a shocking scene. Like when he walks in his face and looks at all that shit, and you see all these characters, it was freaky.
I'm surprised there wasn't one in there that we did
clearly know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that would have been
Mace Windu.
I know. I think people were looking for anybody.
There
they
was
could find.
one in there that kind of resembled, but he had hands. So.
Oh, poor Mace. Besides, Mace is alive.
Right. Exactly. Well, he could be alive in this if it's just suspended animation. Who knows?
Well, there you go. I think he realizes at that point, Ben, that Leia's getting tortured, and so he's like, "You need to cause a distraction, Tala. Like, I gotta go save her." And so the distraction is pulling Reva out of the torture chamber to tell her this story, to this ruse that, hey, they're on Florum. Right. And so do you remember Florum? Do you remember that planet? You know who's on Florum? Hondo.
Yes, yes, that's where he camps out, right?
Yeah, it's the pirate, haven.
Yep.
So I thought that was kind of interesting that they mentioned that.
Is that where he's got the quasi strip club bar thing where he hangs out and eats fucking turkey legs and shit?
Right.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Yeah, Florum. Good place to go.
Mm-hmm. Bring your kids.
She's skeptical, of course, Reva, or maybe you're lying. And they just kind of keeps going, but she's not sure how to read her. I think Tala does a good job of kind of convincing her that maybe this might be true. So she's like, well, we're going to vet this out.
Just admit you're a spy. I am a spy.
That was a badass move. Yeah, the look at her face. Huh?
Tala should be, fucking Cassian's mentor. You know what I mean? She's fucking put the playbook together.
I wonder if we'll see her somewhere else. That's a good shout. I could see Tala showing up somewhere else for sure.
She needs to start doing negotiations for the Mandalorian. This is how you talk.
Right. Well, and clearly she can handle herself because she fucked up that officer that pulled her aside. Hey, come with me.
Was someone playing an episode of Splinter Cell as they were writing that? So they're like, let's just take this guy off screen here, just fucking chokehold him and hide him behind a bookshelf and go back to the desk and do what we were doing.
Yeah, depress L3 to drag body. Pull him behind the bookcase.
And there's just the NPC sitting next to her, looking over at her.
Right. Well, because she goes, what are they doing down there? And then he looks over and she's like, never mind.
I shall not question you or have a line of dialogue.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. There's an open mic 24/7 with those little handheld things. It's like, you'd think that would give people away way more often.
Yeah.
I know.
Episode
it's
2.
Walking
R2
around
has
with a fucking Nextel all the time. Just
exactly.
let everyone talk to you.
Beep, beep. R2 has to put the fucking, he's like, R2, and he's like, he puts it inside of himself, and then the other droids are like, what's going on over here?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
That was episode 3. Episode 3.
So she's getting taken. The alarm is tripped because Ben gets to Leia. Well, hold on. I got to step back a second again.
Yeah, you do.
He goes into the fucking, torture chamber and kills the lights.
Darkness.
And then he does that sweet scene.
Darkness.
Darkness is coming.
Yeah. I love how he takes out the one trooper and the other one's just like, hey, freeze. Like whatever he says.
No, at least dude, I'd light up the fucking room, man.
Yeah, don't be afraid to go ahead and pull that trigger.
Hold still. Don't move.
Oh, boy.
Where are you?
They gotta have a flashlight on him or something, right?
You would think so.
I'm going to stay here in the darkness and not move an inch.
So he easily gets taken out.
I put a memo out last week to get us the fucking infrared shield inside the mask. We didn't get it. Empire's on a budget. So
he gets Leia, they get out, and that's when they trip. That one of those what do you call them? Seeker droids or something?
Yeah, they're the seeker droids. They're the ones at is it number 2? Who does number 2 work for in Rebels? She's got the 2 of them, right? And they're always they're like her pets, remember?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you guys notice in the main control room the decor that was up there? Where Tala is talking to Reva?
Throne room area, not throne room, but where there was a map or so. What was up there?
No, it was the whole ring of the outer side was lined with lightsabers from the dead Jedi that they had killed. You guys didn't see that?
In which room?
Say what?
In the room where Tala and Reva are having their conversation.
Was she staring out the window at the ocean?
If you look around, there's like a red velvet or a red whatever, and it's got lightsabers just placed around there randomly. And it looks like
yes. This is the room that they were in before when all the Inquisitors were meeting because it's got like that desk in the middle of the room.
Yeah, they're arguing about who gets to sit in the chair.
And I remember seeing something in the background then. There was something off to the side. You're right. It's like trinkets that they're fucking collecting, like Grievous style.
It looks like, they're the lightsabers from the Jedi.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you just downloaded Fallen Order, but haven't played any of it yet, right?
I have not played any of it yet. No.
And then you finished the game?
I've done the game, yes. I was gonna do another run on it, but I was gonna wait till like closer to the sequel comes out next year.
How much of the Inquisitorium is in the game and that matches up? Is that torture room, is that in there?
Oh boy, it's been a while since I played it. I don't think that's in there.
No?
I don't think so. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. You should play it. It's good. I mean, it feeds into some of the story.
I don't have a last gen system, let alone a next gen system to play it. So either I'm gonna go over there and play with him, or I was gonna do a YouTube walkthrough. Like
You'll get a lot of the storyline from that. Hell, they'll probably just show you the cutscenes and stuff. But it's a very fun game. Very fun.
You can come down and play. We'll play together. We'll make Carter and Cole watch us. As
there we go.
Play.
Yeah.
Kids, can we get a turn?
No. Give me a second controller.
It's kind of a one-player deal, so you have to hand it back and forth.
Okay.
I'll just watch. I'll fucking drink a beer and watch you play. Every time you die, spit on you.
Let the boy watch.
Disgusting.
So the alarm's tripped, and they start to take her away. They take Tala away, and then she gets in that hallway, and that's when Ben's like, Tala, like they basically like, we've been discovered. Then she turns and like slaps the stormtrooper in the head. Did you see that move?
Yeah, like open hand palm fucking just smacks him right in the nose and grabs the other one from underneath, like face masking.
Yeah, almost like a football coach.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I just love the fact that she slaps the one. He's like, oh my God.
He's just disoriented. Oh, she hit me right in the temple.
And then as the first one's falling and she grabs the other one, she turns around and grabs the gun from him, shoots him, throws the gun down right after she's shot them both, but then grabs the gun off the dead body of the other one, right?
Which was her gun that she surrendered.
Oh, is that what? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I'm like, why is she had one in her hand?
She puts her hands up, surrenders. It's the same gun that Han Solo has.
Okay.
It looks like.
Yeah.
With the scope on the top.
Yeah.
And so, then you get this cool scene with Kenobi fighting off all these troopers. And finally the lightsaber's out, and he's deflecting shots like we've seen. You'll see it. You get to do that in Jedi Fallen Order as well.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when they're in that one hallway, probably the same one, when he deflects the one shot and hits the glass, I thought he was doing that on purpose. Like, I thought he was going to do some crazy like water escape. And I was thinking, so are you do you have another like mouth, breather that you can hand to Leia to get her out of there? How the fuck are you going to get her to the surface? You're pretty deep down there. I didn't realize that was kind of an accident. And then that's when Tala shows up and he's, trying to fend them off, and then he has to hold the glass because it's shattering.
Right.
So you're getting to see more Force usage out of Ben.
Did you notice that the stormtrooper shot was so bad that he shot the seeker?
Yes, at one point I saw that it
wasn't
went
deflected.
through
It just shot. It went past him. Fucking
right.
Well, he was also like doing shooting, blasting lasers back from behind too.
Right.
So he was doing some impressive.
I love the last
deflection.
one where he does the double fucking twist and spin and slice, and then he fucking does his pose.
Everybody see that? I still got it. I'm back.
That's exactly what it was.
Obi-Wan gets his groove back.
Yep.
Yeah, so then he holds off the glass, and then, the scene where he like leaves when the water's flooding in, he gets to the door. It was kind of silly.
The only thing that bothered me was there wasn't a fucking drop of water on the floor
Not one.
outside of
I
him.
looked at the same thing.
Like the door closed just in time to capture all of the water. Because the second time I watched it, I was like, "There's no fucking water on the floor. Like it didn't even have any flow in. Come on."
And then you look through the window, you see this floating
Right.
helmets.
Instantly dead. Not one of them's fucking swimming. Like, let me out.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was kind of cool, that shot of showing them all floating there dead. But yeah, it would have been funny had they got out into the hallway and then just some random Inquisitorium worker shows up with the wet floor sign and starts mopping it.
Mop bucket. Safety is no accident. Everyone watch your step.
It's been 0 days since our last episode.
Yes.
Oh, then we get the silly Leia under the coat trick.
Jesus, come on. You gotta think of something better than that.
They're literally locking the facility down, and the alarm is going off, and there's people everywhere, and nobody notices that there's 4 legs coming out of a trench coat.
I tell you, they got that walk down. Second time I'm watching it, I'm like, man, I mean, she's like right with that leg. It was like he had a giant fucking tumor on one side though.
And he's wearing that stupid fucking hat. Like, take that hat off. Like, if you're gonna do something cool,
You're fucking mad.
if
at
I'm
him.
gonna die, take that hat off. You
He was
got
in
that
disguise.
Don't die in that hat.
Don't die in
yeah.
that hat. Like, Tal, I'm going out. Whips it off. Fucking go.
Do you think Leia was doing like you do with a toddler? You'll walk with them and they'll hang on one arm, they'll like hug your leg.
Yeah.
Is that what she was doing? Like she's just holding on to the fucking right leg and he's taking big steps.
They should have done that.
holding on.
I think she's so small that could easily work, but I think she was just scurrying along, so it looked like 4 individual legs just moving along.
And I'm glad they did the pop her head out to get a little peek thing because otherwise I never would have known she was there.
Yeah, they should have done the thing where she just went fucking full on like Ocelot, wrapped herself around his leg. Just.
I mean, if they were gonna do it, they should have just did the whole where she puts the coat on and gets on top of Obi-Wan's shoulders,
Right.
and just wraps the
Tall.
trench coat.
He's just a really tall
She's
officer.
got the hat on.
The Monstars. The Monstars move.
You look rather young to be an officer, young lady.
Looks like one of those shrunken head dudes in Beetlejuice.
It's the Monstars move from Space Jam.
Right? Yeah.
Or she's like, what's his name? Not Watto. Quado? What's his name from?
Yeah, Quado. Yeah, from Total Recall.
She's just in a Baby Bjorn.
Yeah.
Suspended.
Yeah, it definitely reminded me of like the 2 people that dress up as a horse for Halloween.
Right.
Like one of those kind of situations. But yeah, then Reva spots him, drops the traitor line.
Yeah.
Everybody's lined up. All hope is lost. And then here comes some motherfucking T-47 snow speeders.
Yep.
That was
Boy,
pretty
those fuckers got some brakes on them too.
Wade and Sully.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
She comes in hot. Sully comes in hot and kind of like lands it. And they're like, come on, get in, get in, get in, get in.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, they triple shotgun in the back seat of that thing. What's going on? That used to just hold what's his name? Who was the guy that was behind Luke and
Yeah.
Dak. Only
Yep.
Dak fit back there. They must have cleared
Yeah,
that baby out, and made it more.
They put like
passenger
a station wagon back seat in there.
And then I love how on their way to get there, they're just smoking fools left and right. Stormtroopers. I mean, they must have killed 73 stormtroopers on the way there, like all from point blank range.
Yep.
And then like Reva comes flying out there to try to get him. And then I think it's Wade is his name, shows
Wade,
up. And he's just giving her both barrels of the fucking the T-47.
I think the only thing they missed out on is they should have like thrown fucking little Leia to Tala, right? And they kept running. He turned around. There should have been like him and Reva have not fucking gone at it yet.
It's got to be
could have
coming.
been
you know?
It's gotta
could have
be
been like a Obi-Wan versus or a Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul in the desert scene.
Right.
He jumps into the
Yeah, there
ship
needed
as
to
it
be like a
flies
little
away.
fucking tussle there.
Well, that's exactly what it looked like in the end. Like that shot they show of the ship flying away and her standing there in the foreground was
Yeah.
straight Phantom Menace shot of like Maul. That was very much like that. Or I mean, yeah, like I would to your point, Jay, almost like that happened a couple times with Kanan, where Kanan in Rebels is fighting and then just like peace out, like he just enough to hold him off and then leave.
yes.
Because this escape scene on the hangar deck or whatever you want to call that felt like a Rebels episode.
Yes.
The way that they somehow magically mowed down all those stormtroopers and got away. It kind of felt a little like animation, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, and then the ghost coming in to save the day.
Right.
They'll jump into it. How many times have they jumped into the ghost?
Into the door. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they needed here. Just they picked the wrong ship.
Well, then as Wade's trying to fly away or whatever. Also, she's deflecting full-on blasters from that T-47. It's not like a stormtrooper blast. She's not even moving a few inches back, digging her heels in.
Oh, right. That'd have been pretty cool.
Ping, ping.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. There'd be some
Force
concussion.
is strong with her, man.
Again, I think in Rebels, similar things happen. I think Kanan at some point is firing, defending blaster shots from some big, huge device machine. And so I think it just felt so much like Rebels, the entire thing.
Not to, go back, we forgot to say that when they're having their little meeting about the Inquisitorium, whether they're going to go break into it or not, they're like, we're not soldiers.
Yes.
And now here we go to the part where they've become soldiers.
Yeah, that little move she does. I love how Fifth Brother's like, destroy them. Thanks for the tip.
Right.
You want to do anything? Those sabers
really,
fly,
He's really got it out for her. I mean, there's no friendship there.
No.
They need there's a cold work environment.
Yeah, it does.
Hostile.
Yeah.
They should not be working in the same team. And then she chucks the fucking explosives at Wade and kills him. So bye Wade. So poor Wade. We barely knew you.
Well, Wade is now waiting in the ocean.
Hopefully he has his waiters.
Yep.
Because it's going to be a wet funeral.
And then we see the scene with Darth. Darth comes in fucking hot.
Oh,
he is
man.
so pissed and just lifts her right up the ground. And, it's so funny because he's like, you've what does he say? You let me down for the last time or whatever he says. And she's like, so he's like, okay, fine. I'll let you say what you're going to say. And that's when she says, we're following him. I put a tracker on him. And he immediately is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Very good then. He goes from level 9.9 anger to just like a 1.
Yeah, he goes from abusive dad to
I'm sorry.
I'm going to be reasonable.
I'm
sorry about what I said when I was hungry. Yeah. Okay. I needed some blue drink.
You needed a Snickers.
She literally looked like she was going to shit her pants, though.
Yeah.
He comes storming down the fucking hallway, and they go to her, and she just goes flying up in the air, and she's like, oh, fuck.
Well, then he sets her down and takes 2 steps too close to her, and I'm like, I flinch back, and she's just staring up at him, she don't give a fuck. She's ready to die.
Did you catch the look on Fifth Brother's face too when all this is going down? He's got this look on his face like, fuck yeah, I knew this was gonna happen. This is great.
He's like,
yeah.
It was almost like a little tee-hee moment. He's like,
yeah.
Let me get my phone out. I got to record this.
I knew this bitch had it coming.
Yeah.
Here she comes. Here comes. She about to get the desserts.
Well, and we talked about how at the end of part 3, how we were like, oh, Darth let the fire cut him off from Kenobi and let him get away. But then now he's just crazy pissed off that he got away until she tells him she's tracking him. That was kind of a weird, those two kind of didn't work totally together. I was a little confused.
Also, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black a little bit? You just literally an episode earlier let Obi-Wan escape.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I told you not to let them escape. But it's good for the goose, good for the gander, bro.
Whatever. If he does it, it's okay. If someone else does it, not okay.
You're 0-13 against Obi-Wan at this point in time. This is my first shot, and you're gonna kill me,
right?
And the Imperial officers on, that he kills in episode 4.
Yeah.
He's searching for it. He needs a W. He's so sick of the L's that he's just, I don't care what it takes. And if you fail me, then you're dead. I get it.
We'll go through every single NCO we have on here.
And obviously this is where he learns the tracker technique because he's ends up using that in A New Hope as well when they let him get away.
Yep.
So many ties to A New Hope. So many ties to the Death Star escape, But then it's revealed, of course, that the tracker is Lola. Oh.
I know.
Not the new hot toy.
Does anyone look at that thing and get reminded of a CD Walkman? Have we had that discussion?
We have not, but it does look like that. Like a Discman?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
It does kind of look like that.
Hopefully it has the anti-skip technology because I like to double as my CD player for my car with the cassette.
That's
adapter.
right. Yeah.
Well, what was the thing that Qui-Gon used in the Phantom Menace as his communicator?
It was
like a garage door opener.
It was a woman's Gillette shaver.
Right. So they borrow from the real world.
Yep.
And I think the only thing at the end I thought was, it happens with every series now. As I start looking, I look at the timer. And I'm like, how fucking close are we to the end of this episode?
Oh.
I end up doing that too much.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, we're closing in on 6 minutes or whatever because there's so many fucking credits. And I thought, don't just end on the Lola shot. Like, give us a taste of something that's coming in the next episode. No.
Right.
I keep going through those fucking credits looking for a deleted scene too.
Or even like coming up next week, something. I don't give a shit if it's 5 fucking seconds. Like, oh, you're making me wait a week with nothing.
Like Barry, like Barry does. Have you watch Barry?
I've only watched the first 2 of this season, 2 or 3.
It gets fucking.
Does it?
Really?
Because the first couple, I'm like, I'm like, I love the show. It's fucking hilarious.
It's a way different tone this year.
Okay, yeah, it took a little. So
it continues to be weird. It continues to be crazy. It's worth watching because you're just like, what the fuck is going on here? But every episode, when they get to the end, they go next week on Barry, and it's like a 1-second shot of somebody just like staring at somebody. You know, it's just like this little tiny little bit. That's
perfect. That's good though. All right.
I was not to bring it back to the show or anything, but we get to see but right before the shot to Lola, you get to see Leia and Ben do the little hold type thing.
Touching
really
moment.
Neil Diamond kicks in, touching hands.
Reaching out.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Is that Sweet Caroline? Emperor Palpatine.
There you go.
There you go.
We haven't seen him yet.
I know. I don't know if we will. I can't decide if we will. If we do, it's in the finale. I don't think it's next week. And that's what I want to get to is what do we see next? Because there's a lot of stuff that's still to be resolved. Are we done with Leia? Is Leia going to be handed off now? And by the way, if she is handed off, how the fuck are she and her dad safe? Like they know you have some involvement. How does the Empire not come? They know that the Organas have some sort of involvement with Kenobi and whoever else. So how do they stay safe after this? I don't understand. I mean, Leia goes on to be in the fucking Senate and it's totally cool. Are they just like, we know what you did, but they never actually do anything about it?
Well, maybe they write it off with the fact that like they were responsible for kidnapping the daughter in the first place. So
this is the agreement they came to?
Yeah.
We won't say anything if you don't say anything.
Yeah, there's a treaty. There's a treaty that's going to happen here.
Well, it's the culmination. Eventually, the frustration and not being able to catch Leia boils over and they take it out on Alderaan.
Right. Or they just don't want to deal with her. They're like, have you seen what she's like when you capture her?
Right.
Oh, God, it's so annoying. We're not going to deal with that.
I mean, I'm willing to bet that Leia has never had a boyfriend all through her years because she's one set till she meets Han.
No, she had boyfriends.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were under her thumb. That is for sure.
There we go. Okay, yeah. Han was like, I could take her in small, as soon as she's.
Well, he was a challenge. That's why that's why he was more enticing to her because he was a challenge. All these other guys were just, fucking dead weight. We got to get back to Luke, right? We got to get back to Tatooine. We have not had hardly any action there. And there was an interview recently with, I'm going to say her name wrong. It's the gal that plays Batuu.
Yep.
I always want to say Bonnie Piese because it looks Italian or something, but that's probably not what it is. And she has indicated that her character has like a notable role. Like she talks about how she's like her biggest care in the world is Luke. She just wants to be his mom and take care of him and stuff. And that she has a role down the stretch in this show. So they got to go back to Tatooine and we got to see her and Owen.
I think that's going to be the last episode when he returns, right? Like there's got to be like I guess now more than ever, like Luke is going to have to be trained.
Yeah.
Because he knows he's force sensitive. He knows that they're going to come, even if he doesn't take him off somewhere, like Luke's going to have to be able to protect himself.
Right. But he doesn't train him for a while. We still got a while before that happens.
Right.
So how do we get to a point back to Ty's question? How do we get to a point where Kenobi just rolls back into just the monitor, the kind of keeping an eye on Luke role and lives in obscurity? How do we get there?
Well, I mean, in the comic books, there's a lot of shit going on in Tatooine now, right? I mean, Vader sends Chrysanthemum there, the bounty hunters. He's aware of things, so there's a lot they can play with. I don't think he's going to be as bored on Tatooine now. Although I don't want a fucking second season where to take a place on Tatooine again.
I know, and it seems like we're
right
based on where we are in the series right now. Who knows what will happen in the next 2 episodes? But it seems like a second season would make a lot of sense at this point.
Yeah.
You think they'll try to do the old? Well, I guess that wouldn't make sense. It's like the Padme thing where she does a double, like a double stunt double type of a thing with Leia in the future. Like take a play out of her mom's playbook where when
she was queen, evades. You mean? When she was queen and had Sabe or whatever?
And that's how she evades the Empire or something. They try to like get her a couple times. I don't know. It seems like they would just crush the Organas because of what happened.
They're pretty powerful though.
Yeah, maybe they have enough political sway.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. right? And it's like they can kind of get away with what they're doing out in their area.
If they full on attack them, they're going to have a larger uprising. It's going to fuel the rebellion.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Do we get any more action going forward with the Jabeam crew or the Path or any of that stuff? Or are we just kind of getting? Are we just kind of winding things down and getting to some sort of resolution with the Reva story and finding out who she is, and then the final confrontation with him and Vader?
I mean, it's almost going to have to be like Reva centric for episode 5, right? Like we need to find out what the hell she's so pissed off about. Like, what is her story and what does she want? Because they seem to be, we're kind of lost at what her game is. Because I don't think she wants to be the
Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, and you would expect that we're building and building and building, and the final thing is going to be the battle that we've been waiting for. So Reva has to be resolved by at least midway through the finale. You would think. I mean, she could be involved in the finale at least at the beginning, but we need to get more on her because there's still a lot of mystery, like you said, surrounding her. Does the Grand Inquisitor show up and is like, I can't wait to see the look on her face when she hears or sees him and she's like, oh, you're alive. And you remember that I stabbed you, dude, don't you? Because that shit's going to be interesting. How are they going to play that out? Grand Inquisitor going to be like, hey, Vader, she stabbed me. It's like kids.
Okay, you two play nice.
Yeah.
Bold prediction. Grand Inquisitor takes care of Reva and Obi-Wan and Vader face off.
I think that's possible.
Oh, well, I don't think he's going to kill Reva. I think if anything, she'll do something to put her like where Vader can't have her killed, right? Because her betraying, unless she does die, but in order to keep her alive, something has to be done where she's in enough of his good graces, Vader's, where he doesn't let the Grand Inquisitor kill her, but maybe she's punished.
I think she is going to take some sort of action that causes her to die. I think she will die by the end of the season. As much as I like the character, I just don't see how she makes it. I don't think she makes it out of this season. Okay.
So we have a death watch. I say no. I say no. You guys say yes?
Yeah. Okay. I think she dies.
All right.
And that's going to be one of those redemption moments that Star Wars loves to do. There'll be like some fucking Kenobi will be holding her like he held Satine, like he held Maul, like he held Qui-Gon. And there'll be this kind of like whispery moment of like, she'll say something to him. There'll be some sort of kind of final exchange that wraps up their little arc together. And then her eyes will be open and he'll have to close her eyes.
Well, they have to fight. He needs to fight all three of the Inquisitors. Like, there hasn't been
that would be awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got to warm up to Vader yet. There needs to be, because right now all it is fucking like, look, we've all got lightsabers and we're waving them around. There hasn't been a fucking, other than, the 4-second fucking, hey, look at, we're
Vader
in the
being
pits.
Too much of a match. Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, I think fourth sister, I don't know her ultimate fate, but I don't think it bodes well for her. Because if one of them's going to die, that's the easy one to go. Because fifth brother's got to survive.
Right, certainly.
But then I think Reva dies as a bigger moment later. So I think fourth sister and Reva may both perish.
Do you think we're going to get longer episodes?
Yes. I think the finale is going to be pushing an hour. I think this next episode will be more in that like high 40s, low 50s range.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope so. The last episode, I hope, is at least like hour 20.
Well, I think they could have lengthened this one out if they wanted to. I think they were just like wanted to tell this, kind of rescue-y story, and they figured they didn't want a bunch of extra. They're like, guys, they're already going to think this is a filler episode. Let's not make it 45 minutes. Like, no, we'll take the extra 10, 15 minutes. That's fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll get more of Reva's story because we need to find out what the fuck's going on with her. Yeah, I had the same thing note in my notes. There got to be a saber fight with Inquisitors. Will we finally hear Qui-Gon, or will that not be till the finale?
Oh, you're gonna get Qui-Gon. It's almost like why they keep teasing if you're not going to.
This next part, or you think it's gonna wait till the finale? Right as he's going in to fight Vader.
Well, I think it's probably what's gonna push him to, right?
Maybe. Could be.
Psst. Go for the high ground.
Well, there might be two conversations. One of like to say, hey, look, you're ready. And another one to be, you're going to have to go park your ass back in that cave and watch the little boy.
That sounds so horrible. You need to go back to the cave and watch that little boy. What?
Don't be playing with your meat that you feed to the EOP either.
Restraining order. Oh, man. I assume since we got the bacta tank and we didn't get the Clone Wars flashbacks that I don't think we're going to get them.
Well, I think if we do, it'll be through Reva telling her story.
Oh, maybe. because everybody's been wanting it. They've been thinking it's coming,
Yeah.
and it just hasn't happened yet. So it's possible. As we've gone along and gotten close to the end here, I just feel like it's not happening.
At this point, I don't think we're going to see any, like, if we get flashbacks, it's going to be more of the, like, through Reva's eyes of things. So I don't think we're going to see, like, the trio running around kicking ass. Like, everyone wants sort of like that, which would be fucking great. But sometimes I'm wondering, like, why does Disney, are they not aware about how much money they have? Like,
you got the budget.
You can do anything you want here.
Yeah, no limits.
Fucking, there's fan service, and there's like, they don't want that. Yeah, we do.
No, we do. Trust me, we do.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, there's got to be something that gives us more Hayden, non-Vader Hayden.
Yes.
Because for him to be so hyped as being in the role, and yes, he's playing the body, for the most part, he's not the voice. And so the only shots you've seen of him is him standing in an open field for a second, and then him all in that makeup in the bacta tank. So I would be real surprised if they didn't utilize him more in his old, his natural form.
I think they need to go through and make sure James Earl Jones recites the entire alphabet and all the consonant and vowel sounds, hard A's, soft A's. That way we can use his voice later on forever.
That's what they're doing
You're
now.
worried about him? You're worried
That's what
about
they're doing now. It's not
worry about his health.
It's not him doing the voice.
Oh, is it modulated?
Yep, it's all AI. Same thing they did with Luke.
It sounds better than when he did it in Rebels, because he actually did it in Rebels.
Yes.
And it sounds more like original trilogy now.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's
your voice changes as you get older, like
Sure.
Johnny Cash, right? He sounded like he was dying in his last album.
Well, or even think about Jay when he first started podcasting.
When I first started podcasting?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, I gotta go back and listen now.
When he was 13.
Welcome to the show.
Hi guys, this is a podcast. All right, anything else on Kenobi, or are we good for now?
No, I mean, we can do more predictions, but they're all going to be wrong.
Well, we're going to have a real good idea of where things are headed with this last episode, because the penultimate episode of this season is going to, I think, push us down toward, all the money shit we want to get.
Right.
So I think this is going to be a big one. This was the last episode that kind of was just kind of like making us go along toward something. This is actually going to fucking rush us toward the end.
Yeah.
Oh, also Nur, wherever the Inquisitorium is, it's a water moon in the system of Mustafar.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So we
it's
forgot
near
to mention
Vader.
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So not on top of Vader, but Vader adjacent.
They're neighbors,
Vader adjacent.
like us.
How crazy would that have been if Vader, instead of Reva, was doing the interrogation of Leia?
Oh, yeah.
I think he would have sensed. I think they purposely.
You
didn't
look
bring
like someone I know. Knew.
I think they purposely didn't bring Vader in because of that. Because I think he would have sensed Leia and known that it was his daughter.
True.
Because he could sense Luke from far away. Remember?
Yeah.
Vader's on that ship.
But
And
he knows her later. When he encounters her at the beginning of A New Hope, he's talking to her like they've had an exchange before. She said, I should have known it was you or whatever for Vader. They have awareness of each other by the time A New Hope rolls around.
Right.
yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
So, that would have been crazy and fucking chilling if he was the one in there talking to her. Holy shit. Not that Reva didn't do a good job, but that would have been nuts.
There's got to be a fucking line of dialogue where they just like get into it. And she's like, "You're not my dad."
And he's like, I never said that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I thought my kids died. Oh, man.
He really goes to the extremes to not pay that back child support. It blows up her entire planet.
Right.
I know.
Fucking Christ, cheap ass.
Yeah,
I swear, I
exactly.
just dropped the money off.
He's got no
Chest
dough. They don't pay
Yeah.
him. They just give him that castle. That was it. And
all he
unlimited
gets.
unlimited bacta tank time. All right, let's go to the Maul Bag.
Let's do it.
Hello there.
You've got mail.
Why is that so low? I got to work on that. Sorry, folks. All right, so we have one additional entry in the Maul Bag because technically Ty's entry was a Maul Bag entry. So this is from, this is so stupid. I just threw it in there because it came to our mailbox.
This is like an uncanny valley thing.
It
like
is.
It's so uncomfortable looking. I want to throw up.
I feel like I've seen this before, but maybe not. But this is from Slewfoot Fred, and he sent, the funny thing is I saw the text of his message first before I saw the picture, and it said, "I found 2 friends to share your pod with," and I was like, oh, cool. It says, "George and Dave are glad to listen. Have a great weekend." And it is the creepiest, like, deep fake of
Yes.
George and Filoni and Lucas with like kids' bodies with headphones on, like they're listening to a podcast. It's fucking amazing.
I say creativity points gets him extra entries for his two friends.
Yeah.
That's good shit. Thank you, Fred. And then we got a FACPAtoid.
Yes, we do.
Am I reading this?
I don't care.
FACPAtoid, taken from Ranker. Was I supposed to read that too? Question mark?
Yeah, I think that's what it was from.
Taken from Ranker? I'm Ron Burgundy. Chopper has one of the highest body counts in all of Star Wars. One Redditor did the math and estimated its total number of direct kills to be close to 50,000. In the end, his body count rivals someone like Darth Vader in terms of the sheer number of people he's taken out on his own.
50,000?
I'm trying to think, like,
how would that be possible?
Was there like a massive like explosion on a planet he was responsible for? Like, what did we see? Like,
or some huge transport or something? Like, I mean, yes, he like hammers people down. But I 50,000. That's got to just be a for fun comment.
I mean, there's even times where he like does it on his own. You know, like it's kind of like, I'm enjoying this kill.
Yeah.
Like, no one's there to witness it.
Right.
He was particularly hard on the little creatures.
Wasn't there like one where like the guy pops out of like that giant manhole or whatever? And he fucking murders him.
Yeah.
Throws another droid on him or what?
Yeah. He's ruthless. Don't give a shit. Hates droids, hates people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they stick with that with the live action. You think they're going to be able to get away with it?
I don't know. But the best one is the one where he's blazing with the two guns. It's the double barrel action. Yes. And he's fucking firing shots left and right. It's like, what is going on? They have to, as a nod, don't they? To like,
yes,
they have to have
once.
him kill somebody, just as a nod. I would think so. That'd be fucking great.
Someone has to like call him out for it. Like, look, man,
chill.
Enough is enough. All right, that's our FACPAtoid. So until next time, thank you for listening.
And never tell us the odds.
In our experience, there's no such thing as luck.
We have spoken.